Making headlines this hour, Maldives holds discussions with Saudi Arabia to accelerate the project to develop a new passenger terminal in VIA. Economic Ministry warns of penalties for businesses over possible hike in prices following the changes in regulation on transportation of goods within the capital city. An Islamic minister reveals the quota allocated for Maldivian pilgrims to participate in the Hajj pilgrimage would be increased by the government of Saudi Arabia this year.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome you all to PSM News in English. I'm Zionat Hassan here with the news in details. Maldives holds discussions with Saudi Arabia to accelerate the project to develop a new passenger terminal on Velana International Airport. The discussions were held during the recent visit of a Maldivian delegation to Saudi Arabia.
The delegation included Minister of Economic Development Mohammed Said, Minister of Finance and Treasury Ahmad Munawwar and Managing Director of Maldives Airports Company Limited MACL Adil Musa and the Ambassador of Maldives to Saudi Arabia Abdullah Hamid. Speaking with PSM News, Economic Minister Mohammed Said stated discussions were held with the government of Saudi Arabia and the Saudi Fund for Development to speed up the progress of the project. In this regard, the Economic Minister revealed discussions also focused on completing the project according to the schedule. The minister further noted the development of a new passenger terminal is one of the main infrastructure projects to be conducted in VIA. The expansion of VIA is the biggest infrastructure project carried out by the government of Maldives. The $1 billion project was launched by the President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum on April 6, 2016, and the new terminal was contracted to Saudi Bin Laden Group on May 22, 2016, as part of the expansion project of VIA. According to MACL, an area of 78,000 square feet will be developed as the new passenger terminal, targeted to facilitate more passengers. The terminal, when completed, will have 40 departure gates, 38 immigration counters, aero bridges and 12 jetties.
Ministry of Economic Development warns of penalties for businesses over possible hike in prices following the changes in regulation on transportation within the capital city. In a circular, the Economic Ministry stated the changes were brought for the convenience of all citizens. Noting that some media reported of possible hike in prices of goods, Economic Ministry stated the change must not result in any price changes. In efforts to address the traffic congestion in Maldives city, Economic Ministry decided on a time limit of transporting goods within the city effective from Sunday. Speaking at a press briefing held regarding the changes brought to transportation of goods, Minister of Economic Development Mohammed Said assured the government will not give any chance for businesses to misuse the opportunity. Economic Minister Mohammed Said urged to refrain from misusing such endeavors of the government to ease the livelihoods of all Maldivians. Furthermore, Economic Minister said the government has now solved the traffic problems faced by Maldivians for a long time, noting the decisions were made with various discussions and considerations. Minister of Environment and Energy Thorik Ibrahim inaugurates the project to develop storage facilities in Himafuji of Kaf Atoll. The government contracted the project to Sierra Construction Private Limited to be completed within 468 days. The project would cost $2.9 million and would be funded from the state budget and Islamic Development Bank (IDB). A wastewater treatment plant and an administrative building would be established as part of the project. The project is conducted under the efforts of the government to provide safe water to all citizens of Maldives. Minister of Housing and Infrastructure Dr. Mohammad Muiz affirms development projects will continue even if it means asking for assistance from local government authority LGA and Maldives Police Service. The Housing Minister made the statement in a tweet slamming the efforts of the opposition to halt the road renovation project of Diddu in Halif Atoll. In the tweet, Housing Minister said the government will ensure the smooth progress of development despite the efforts of the opposition to disrupt projects. The road development of Diddu is managed by Maldives Road Development Corporation MRDC. The project, funded by state budget, includes tarring of 14 roads in the island at a cost of nearly $3.2 million. The government has urged the opposition to cooperate with the development projects despite the political differences. Minister of Islamic Affairs Dr. Ahmad Ziad reveals the quota allocated for Maldivian pilgrims to participate in the Hajj pilgrimage would be increased by the government of Saudi Arabia this year.
Speaking to media about his recent trip to Saudi Arabia to inquire about the pilgrimage arrangements, Minister of Islamic Affairs Dr. Ahmad Ziad said, even though Maldives has been allocated a quota for 1,000 pilgrims, it is expected to be increased by the government of Saudi Arabia. Hajj Corporation has so far granted 600 quotas to private companies, with each company receiving 100 quotas. Islamic Minister revealed more quotas will be granted to private companies according to regulations. During the trip, Islamic Minister met with key figures of Saudi Arabia, in which discussions were held to ease the Hajj pilgrimage for Maldivian pilgrims. Islamic Minister noted Saudi Arabia is conducting several infrastructural projects to ease the pilgrimage, including renovation of hotels in the area. Furthermore, Islamic Minister added VIP bus services will begin this year to minimize the waiting hours of pilgrims. Islamic Minister also highlighted discussions are underway to arrange accommodation to all Maldivians from one hotel. The minister revealed discussions are also ongoing to decrease the number of days spent in Makkah due to the frequent arising of health problems. During the trip, Islamic Minister also met with officials from Islamic Development Bank IDB. During the meeting, IDB assured to assist the construction of Haybus buildings in Maldives.
With the government of Maldives is continuously working to develop the main gateway of Maldives, Vilana International Airport VIA, the demand is increasing likewise. April has been a month with record increase in the operation of the airport. In this regard, 29 private jets landed on VIA on the 1st April alone.
Vilana International Airport is known as the busiest airport operated in the South Asia region. While the demand for the airport grows significantly daily, insufficient space is one main challenge faced by the airport. The government of Maldives initiated a $1 billion mega project to solve the issue by expanding the airport. The expansion project of VIA includes the construction of a new runway, an international terminal, a new seaplane terminal, a fuel farm, and a cargo complex. The development of a bigger apron is also in the pipeline to enable the easy parking of aircrafts. It is noteworthy that no interruptions are experienced in the operation of the airport, regardless of the project conducted in the airport. April has been a month with a record increase in the operations of the airport. Maldives Airports Company Limited MACL revealed 29 private jets landed at VIA during the first day of the month, which is a notable increase compared to the same period of last year. MACL describes it as a growth of the tourism sector, although April is not a peak month for tourism.
Monthly Economic Review of Maldives Monetary Authority MMA shows the Maldivian economy is estimated to maintain a solid growth of 6% in 2018, following a robust growth of 6.9% in 2017. According to MMA, while the strong domestic demand, underpinned by the continued buoyancy in the construction sector, is projected to provide further stimulus for economic growth, the favorable condition in the tourism sector is also expected to firm up in 2018. MMA stated the fiscal deficit is projected to increase to 3% of GDP this year from a revised 2% of GDP in 2017. Meanwhile, according to the balance of payments forecast of October 2017, the current account deficit is projected to contract further to 18% of GDP in 2018 from an estimated 22% of GDP in 2017 as major infrastructure spending starts to wind down. Australia's famous coffee brand Gloria Jeans Coffee opens its first outlet in Maldives. The outlet opened at the Water Pavilion of Rasfandu was inaugurated by First Lady Fatma Ibrahim.
Malé Water and Sewerage Company Private Limited, MWSC, was contracted to develop the three-story pavilion in 2016. With major hurdles, the development got delayed, but has successfully completed the development of the water pavilion. Addressing the inauguration ceremony, Minister of Economic Development Mohammed Said said, the administration has been successful in overpowering all the tactics by the opposition in hindering the development of the country. In this regard, Minister Said noted that the current administration has been successful in bringing the maximum number of foreign investments to the country. The first outlet to open at the pavilion is the Gloria Jeans Coffee, which is franchise specialty coffee house company that has opened more than 800 coffee houses across 39 markets worldwide, including over 460 outlets in Australia. In an exclusive interview with PSM News, the massive franchise support trainer for Retail Food Group, Brad Smith, said the products from the outlet would be provided at a low price range. In this regard, he noted that the products would provide a new taste for Maldivians who has been exposed to a limited variety of coffee products.
You've got chocolate, you've got vanilla, we've got special powders. We've got powders which are and ingredients which are only for Gloria Jeans, especially made. So that would be the number one thing. Number two would be the nitrous coffee. So it's kind of like beer but without alcohol. You know, it's got that type of pour. I don't know of anybody doing that in the country, any other company that's doing the nitrous. So those are the two biggest things that are unique.
With its inauguration, the outlet had an open house buffet open for the public to taste some of its products. With the launch of some famous food franchises, the locals expressed elatedness on the achievement the country has achieved in the past few years.
Gloria Jeans Coffee has been introduced to the Maldives for the first time, and mostly this is a very beautiful ambience because, you know, we are just by the sea and, you know, it's a water pavilion. So I think for coffee lovers, this is going to be a beautiful opportunity. And Gloria Jeans coffee brand has like 800 coffee houses in the world. So we now have like added one of them in the Maldives. So I think for the coffee lover, this is a wonderful opportunity.
As a youth, I'm extremely happy that we get more franchises, different kind of franchises here in Maldives, and I'm really grateful for Gloria Jeans for including the individuals with disabilities in this organization.
This was a fun experience being here and enjoying the launching ceremony of Gloria Jeans in Maldives, and we thank our government for this new opportunity.
The first outlet of the pavilion, Gloria Jeans Coffee, would be open for the public today. First Lady Fatma Ibrahim has inaugurated the pavilion developed at Rasfandu Beach with colorful celebrations. The pavilion, which is a three-story building developed by MWSC, would have famous food franchises such as Gloria Jeans Coffee. From the overhead bridge of Rasfandu, Ismail Azim, PSM News.
U.S. stocks were off to the worst start in April since the Great Depression as a result of the escalating trade tensions between China and the United States and the sharp decline in the technology sector on the market.
According to the S&P Global, the S&P 500, which is a broad market index, declined 2.23% to end at 2,581.88, the worst start in April since 1929. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 458.92 points or 1.90% to end at 23,644.19, and the Nasdaq Composite Index shed 193.33 points or 2.74% to end at 6,870.12. According to China's Ministry of Commerce, China has suspended tariff concessions on 128 items of US products, including pork and fruits. According to a statement posted on the ministry's website, the Customs Tariff Commission of the State Council has decided to impose a tariff of 15% on 120 items of products imported from the United States, including fruits and related products, and a tariff of 25% on 8 items of imports, including pork and related products from that country. The statement said it was a countermeasure against the previous US move to slap tariffs on China's steel and aluminum imports. Despite worldwide objections, the US administration decided to impose a 25% tariff on steel imports and a 10% tariff on aluminum, affecting countries including China. A sharp decline in the technology sector led by Amazon also rattled nervous investors. Shares of Amazon slumped more than 5% after US President Donald Trump tweeted on Saturday that Amazon was scamming the US Postal Service, adding the service losers billions of dollars delivering packages for the e-commerce giant.
And now we look into the latest news updates from international arena. An Afghan forces airstrike on a gathering of Taliban representatives in the northern province of Kunduz causes numerous casualties, including civilians. The strike outside Kunduz city hit a gathering of Taliban fighters preparing an operation, killing 15 and wounding 10. He said there also appeared to be civilian casualties, but he had no details. Local people said the strike had hit a mosque and that a number of civilians had been killed and wounded. The area has been largely under the control of Taliban fighters, and many details about the strike were unclear. A statement from the Taliban said the strike killed 150 religious scholars and civilians and denied that any of its forces were present. The incumbent Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi wins a landslide victory in the country's presidential election, collecting 97.8% of the valid votes.
According to the country's National Elections Authority (NEA), the turnout was 41.05% as over 24 million voters in and outside Egypt cast their ballots. A total of over 21.8 million eligible voters at home and abroad voted for Sisi, and over 656,000 or 2.92% of the voters voted for Sisi's only rival, Musa Mustafa Musa. Residents of Cairo took to the streets to express their support for Sisi after the official announcement, but they said they were expecting more from the president in his second term. Sisi came to power in mid-2014 after he led the military in ousting the former Islamist president Mohamed Morsi in response to the mass protests against his one-year rule and his outlawed Muslim Brotherhood group. Sisi had been expected to win a landslide victory in the polls, but the Egyptian leadership tried to seek a high turnout as a sign of greater popular support for the Sisi administration.
The Syrian army discovers a large network of underground tunnels in Jabar, eastern Ghouta, following the evacuation of rebels from the area of Idlib, northern Syria.
In a field visit organized for local and foreign media, reporters walked around a tunnel large enough for a four-wheel car to drive in. The last Syrian rebel group in eastern Ghouta near Damascus began withdrawing under an agreement with the government, though a military source said a group of insurgents were still rejecting the deal. If confirmed, the departure of Jaish al-Islam from Douma would mark the end of the war for eastern Ghouta, wiping out an opposition stronghold near Damascus and underlining President Bashar al-Assad's unassailable position in the war. According to War Monitor, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, the government offensive on Ghouta has been one of the deadliest of the war, killing more than 1,600 civilians. Assad, who has military support from Iran and Russia, now controls the bulk of Syria.
Bayern Munich coach says there is no chance Real Madrid could sign Robert Lewandowski next season.
As his side prepares to face Sevilla in the Champions League quarter-finals, the first leg against Sevilla, Hugh Heynckes was adamant the Polish striker is not going anywhere. Robert Lewandowski has been rumoured to leave the team at the end of the Bundesliga season, with Real Madrid reportedly interested. Arturo Vidal and Joan Bernat have been included in the squad for the Tuesday's match after the pair passed late fitness tests. Sevilla are also undefeated in their 11 home games against German clubs. Bayern midfielder Javier Martinez said Sevilla was one of the toughest teams to be drawn against in the quarter-finals. The treble-chasing Bavarians, who last won the Champions League in 2013, will host Sevilla in Munich for the return leg next week.
That we conclude the news for this bulletin. Thanks for joining and have a pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.